All right, Phil here with Sarros Landscaping, and I want to walk you through the next project that we're going to be working on, which is going to be to replace the sod on these two homes right behind me, this home here and that home over there. What they have right now is kind of this, it's just been mowed, so it actually looks kind of nice right now, but up close you would see that it's just a very mossy, weedy, fescue-y type mixture. Does not look very well, does not look very good, and we're going to be replacing it with a Zeon Zoysia Sod, which is a very shade-tolerant cultivar of zoysia. But before we do that, we've got some prep work to do, and we do want to address the fact that there is so much shade here. So one of the things that I always do or always note when we're looking at doing a sod replacement is where is the sunlight on the property. And of course the sun rises in the east, sets in the west, but when you pull up to a house and you're looking to replace the sod, you want to get your bearings right away. You want to quickly look and find where is east, and you can almost see based on the time of day that you're at the house. If it's a morning appointment, you start to look and you say, okay, here is east and here is west. And sometimes, I swear, maybe it's me, maybe it's just that I've been doing it a while, but I swear that if you look up to the sun, you can feel a little bit of the warmth and just kind of get this sense of this left to right movement that the sun is going to do. So that the path of the sun is going to take. And you kind of look up and you can say, okay, this is east, and you just sort of imagine which way the sun is rotating. And when you look at it like that, you say, okay, is this going to be in shade or is it going to be in sunlight? The sunlight conditions make a huge difference on the type of sod that you're going to choose for a property. So it's very important to note what your sunlight conditions are. It's also important to note what time of year you're looking at the property. Of course, a lot of times you look at a property and there's no leaves on the trees. I mean, right now these trees are beginning to flush out a little bit. It's early spring here, so things are starting to bloom. I mean, you can kind of take a look down the street, things are starting to fill in, but just a month ago, many of these trees had no foliage on them at all. So you can get a little bit, you can get your bearings off a little bit if you're not paying attention to the fact that, oh wow, today it looks sunny, but if you can imagine a natural area, once it's all filled in, you could be looking at a yard that's in deep shade. So that's one of the things that you want to educate your homeowners and your clients on, is to say, I can imagine here in the next few months you're going to be in deep shade, so here's how that will impact the type of sod that you choose for a property. So in this instance, again, we're going to be going in here with a Meyer Zoysia lawn, and there's a good example of it down the road. Maybe it's too far for some of you to see. I can take a walk down there in just a moment, but you see, like, a lot of these homes were built with fescue lawns. When the homes were originally built, this neighborhood's probably on average about 15 years old. A lot of fescue lawns were installed. It was probably pretty easy to start them from seed at that time, but many of the homes now have transitioned to some sort of shade-tolerant warm season grass like a zoysia, which is a very common grass to replace a fescue with. So again, we have a ton of moss here. As part of this project, these trees are going to be coming out because this is a total southern exposure. So by the time 12 to 1 to 2 p.m. hits, all of these trees are doing nothing but shading this front lawn right here, which is making the conditions next to impossible to generate and to grow and to cultivate a good healthy lawn in here. So all of these trees are going to be coming out. It is considered what I would consider to be a very dangerous tree removal. We're not actually going to be the company removing the trees. I think there's a company coming in that's going to have a crane in here that's going to be taking these out. They're very close to the house, so there's going to be some delicate tree removal work that takes place there. So that's sort of where our company will stop at tree removal and allow another company to handle that type of work. So in looking at this lawn, the first step of the process is going to be to spray it with an herbicide. So we've got that scheduled to take place, where this lawn will be sprayed with an herbicide to completely kill it off. We're going to wait about a week, and then we're going to come in and begin the installation. As part of this installation, we're going to be tilling up this yard, removing the existing debris, the existing vegetation, which at that point will be dead by the time we come out to do it. And then we're going to amend the soil. We're going to be using a mixture of compost and river sand. And I love this blend more than using topsoil. So a lot of people say when they install a new lawn that they're going to use topsoil. Well, remember, topsoil is soil from the top. It's better than clay, it's better than fill dirt, but it really has no nutrient component at all. When we blend compost with river sand, we get a natural natural source of organic nitrogen inside of the compost. With the river sand, you've got lots of angular material that's going to work its way into the soil, and it's going to naturally aerate. It's very gritty. It's going to break up a lot of the clay. It also releases a ton of minerals into the soil because it's sand from a river which is flowing with water, which naturally collects calcium and magnesium and a lot of minerals that will enrich the soil. So we're going to be adding all of those components into it, using a tiller to work that into the existing clay soil to improve its nutrient components. And then we're going to regrade this out. We've got to, once these trees are removed, one of the things that I advised the homeowner on was make sure that the tree company takes away the mulch, because you know, of course, the stump grinder is going to come in and they're going to leave a big pile of mulch and they're going to ask them to spread it around. But this is actually a low spot, and this spot is collecting and holding some water. So what I want to do is I want to build this area up with good clean dirt, and I want to compact that down so rainwater can flow off better towards the street. I mean, you can't see it really well from here, but this is almost dead level at best, so it's really hard for water to move off of it. As I mentioned, we are going to be doing the neighbor's house as well, so there's a couple more key things that I want to point out. One is these gigantic trees, which probably were nice little cute baby trees when this neighborhood was installed. Now they're absolutely gigantic with massive root systems. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. One thing that we're going to be doing is we can no longer take sod right up to the edge of these trees, so we're going to be filling in with a dark brown mulch approximately 4 or 5 feet away. So wherever I can reasonably get sod to grow is where I will take that sod up to that point, and then we're just going to fill in the rest with a nice dark color brown mulch. One thing I want to point out that's a difference between these two properties is this. A lot of times in the front yard of a property you will find a sewer clean out, some sort of white cap that has a fitting on it that you can unscrew, so if you ever have to clean out the sewer system, a plumber can go in and do that. In this case, in the one homeowner's case, they've installed this box with a lid around it, which seems to make really good sense, so you can identify and locate it. But it's really not my favorite thing to do. In the instance over here that we're going to be working on, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the clean out. And actually, one of the things that I like to do is bury them underground. And you might be thinking like, whoa, how do you access it if you bury a sewer clean out underground? So here is this sewer clean out right there. And it's got this huge box, and you can see that one of the big problems here is this grade is very uneven. So we're going to be lifting this grade about 6 or 7 inches in here to bring it level to this flagstone front entrance. But the reason I bury and basically abandon the sewer clean out is this. If you think about it, you rarely ever have to use a sewer clean out. What, maybe once every few years in an emergency situation, a plumber has to come out and clean out the sewer. But other than that, day after day, the last thing that you really want to be looking at, mowing around, weed eating around, is this big green lid or black lid or some sort of lid or structure. So one thing that I did it at my own personal house, and I advise homeowners to do it, is we'll take a digital picture of this area, and you kind of triangulate with a tape measure just where this is located. So you might choose a tape measurement from the mailbox to the clean out, and another measurement from one of the corner posts of the house to the clean out, and the other corner post to the clean out. So you take these 3 measurements, you draw a map of it, or you take a digital picture and you write in the measurements on it, and you save that. So if you ever need to find it, you can know within minutes. Just to grab a tape measure and you'll almost instantly know where that clean out is. I keep that picture in a cabinet in my garage, and I can tell you within moments exactly where that clean out is. But for the majority of the time, which is almost every single day, always, I never have to look at that clean out. But if I need to access it, I can dig it up, and there will always be a lid on it that I can unscrew. So it avoids the eyesore. Now, especially in the lots that we're working on, I mean, literally look at the size of that lot. It's tiny. So that clean out right there makes a huge statement. Now, in a big yard, that might get lost and you might not be as noticeable. But in a small yard like that, I would definitely recommend burying that underground. As part of this project, we're also going to be doing the backyard. It's not a real big backyard. It's actually pretty small back there, but we will be doing the backyard as well. I won't take the time to walk you back there now, but that's this job. We're going to be we're going in here, replacing a fescue lawn with Zeon Zoysia. It's going to be a pretty quick, easy project. We're going to get in and out in one day, plus the extra few hours that it's going to take to come out here and pre-spray this lawn with an herbicide to kill it off. But that's the step-by-step process. Spray the lawn, kill it, till it up, add compost and river sand, level it, check for drainage, check for sunlight, pick the right species and cultivar of sod. In this case, we're going to be going in with Zeon Zoysia, and that's about it. So I hope this helps give you an idea on how to select the right type of sod, how to check for the sunlight conditions, how to check for drainage conditions, and how to tell people when you're not qualified to do a job. In this case, it was these trees. We're qualified to do a lot of things, but in this case, it's better to look at this and say, you know what, these are really dangerous trees, and just say, we're not qualified. This is not an area of our expertise, rather than take on and say, okay, I'm gonna subcontract it. I'm gonna do the extra work to find out somebody who can actually take care of all of this for me. Just simply say, that's not our area of expertise, and be honest. So I'll show you a finished look at this project once we get it all done, but that'll be coming next week. Thanks, have a great day.